Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Our chapter is web development, and we are still discussing about the table styles. As for in our previous session, we saw the one activity that we try to create a table with various columns and the rows. We displayed how you can put various styles within your table just to make it with the various designs of your table within the web page. So today we'll discuss in theory the these cascading styles which we can use in HTML, the styling HTML tables, adding these cascading style sheets, the adding CSS. So we've discussed the just see how you can add within for example within the header. Now for this session we just see these kinds or the types of these adding the CSS within your HTML. Now therefore, just the common CSS types for the styling HTML tables. So there's inline CSS, the internal CSS, and the external CSS. So we'll see the brief on the theory about the internal CSS, which we have seen the activity. But in terms of the inline, we'll see how it looks like and how also the external CSS how it looks like, and I think we'll do the activity in another session. But for this session, we just see the theory on these types of the CSS for the styling of the HTML tables. So we'll start with the first one, the inline CSS. Definition in terms of definition, the CSS style is written directly inside the HTML tag using the style attribute. This is what we call the inline CSS. For the example, the syntax example of it, as you can see here, this code open for the paragraph style. Then there's color red, font size 18 pixels. Now this is just an inline style text, so this will just display within the given of your table, but will just being shown within this kind of a given tag, only for this kind of a tag. We'll see how it is specifically within the activity, but for the syntax of it, how it looks like is like this. Now let's see the advantages of this. The advantages of inline CSS. Some of them. The first one is that it is quick and easy for small changes. So you can just create this one very quickly, and it is very easy. So you can input various changes for your HTML table or just for your HTML document. Also, it's used for testing or just for one of styling. So you can just use it when you're trying to test certain kind of style which you can see that it fits for your HTML table document, just to how you can display it within your web page. So that's clear. So these are just two of the advantages of this. In terms of the disadvantages, the disadvantages of inline CSS they include as follows. The first one is just hard to maintain for large projects. This inline CSS you cannot do it for the large projects. So since the large projects they will just need many styles, and you cannot input those various kinds of formats or styles in each kind of tag, so that can become difficult. The other one is mixes content HTML with the design. So this inline CSS can result to mixes content, so you can kind of mix up the content for your HTML document. So that's why it's not very much preferable. Then repetition, if the same style is needed in multiple places. So there's a case of repetition that can occur when you're trying to use this inline CSS. So this is just the disadvantage, or these are just the disadvantages of using this inline CSS. Now moving on. Let's see the second one, the internal CSS, which we've seen in the activity. So by definition, this internal CSS, the CSS style that is written inside a style block within the head section of the HTML document. So we can put that the various styles within the header section of your HTML document. The syntax example, for example, here is the header. So there's a tag to open header and then to close. Then you input those kinds of styles that you want for your table style. Then there's paragraph color that is blue. You can change any kind of which you want, as we've seen in the activity before. Then the font size 18 pixels. Now this is just the internal CSS. So that's closing the header tag. Then there's body. then this is just the internal style text, so that will just be there. So that's the example of how you can use this internal CSS. But this is just the general term. Now we'll see how it can be applied when you are trying to see the table, as we've seen in the previous activity. Moving on, the advantages of this internal CSS keeps styles in one place for a single page and easier to maintain or manage than inline CSS, and also it allows applying styles to multiple elements on the same page. So these are just quick examples, quick advantages of using the internal CSS. As you can see, these a couple of advantages are very important as compared to the one which we've seen the previous type. So these are the advantages. In terms of the disadvantages, the disadvantages of internal CSS are that the first one, that styles apply only to that specific page. So the styles are just applicable for the specific page only. So these are crucial just for designing of table styles within the single page. The second is that are not reusable across multiple pages. So you cannot simply use the same kinds of styles when you are trying to create multiple pages. So that's the other disadvantage of this internal CSS. Moving on, let's see the third type, that is the external CSS. Now, in terms of definition, this kind of CSS style is stored in a separate .css file and linked to the HTML document. So in terms of this external, it means like you store these kinds of styles just apart to another file, whereby you link that file within your tags or within your HTML tags, just to link it to your document directly. So as for syntax example, you can see here, for example, link ref equals to size sheet ref styles.css. The paragraph class highlight, this is the external style text close paragraph. Then the file that or just the external kind of file that you've created is here, styles.css file. Then here the credentials for the editing or various kinds of styles that you want. The highlight color is green, font size 18 pixels, etc. So you can add various couple of these various styles which you want at this kind of a file. In these kinds of styles or these kind of formats we just apply to your file or to your HTML document directly after inserting this kind of link when you are trying to create your HTML document. So that's clear in terms of the external CSS. Now, the advantages of this, the advantages of the external CSS. There's first, the first one, that keeps HTML clean and focused on the structure. So this helps to keep your HTML just clean, and you can just focus on your structure rather than try to go back and forth in terms of just trying to add the styles. Then the styles are reusable across multiple pages, so you can use these styles for multiple pages. So that's the other important advantage which you cannot. It's also easier to maintain and update. Change once in a CSS file affects all linked pages. So it's kind of an easy way just to update when you're trying to work on multiple pages, and it encourages separation of concerns or content versus the design. So that's the other advantage. So here, as you can see, there are plenty of these various advantages of using the external CSS. We'll see how you can create that in our next sessions, or just in the other activity which we'll see. Now, the disadvantages, that first requires an extra file. So as we've seen, that we'll have to create an external file, so that is required there. Then the styles don't apply if the CSS file is missing or not linked correctly. So any mistake of linking the file will just not display the styles which you want from the extra file. So these are just some of the disadvantages of the external CSS. So hope that's clear, everyone. Thank you for listening. We've discussed these kinds of or types of CSS styles that you can insert in your HTML table. Now we'll discuss later on in next session. We'll see the activity on how you can use the first type and the third type. So I hope that's clear for this session, and thank you.